I want you to ask yourself a question, and I don't want you to answer it too quickly. How many of your decisions are truly yours, and how many of these have you made just to keep others happy? If tomorrow the whole world stopped clapping for you, would you still be doing the same things? Today, I want us to talk about something uncomfortable, but deeply liberating. To stop living for approval and start living for you. Because here's the truth. When you live for approval, your life stops being yours. It becomes a stage, a show directed by others, and you become the actress in a role you never asked to play. You rise, you free yourself, you love yourself, and everything shifts. I'm Eva, and this is Rise with Self-Love. Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to Rise with Self-Love, a space where we remember together what already lives within us, our truth, our light, and our power to heal, rise, attract, and receive. Let me paint you a picture of what it feels like to live for approval. That constant anxiety of checking if what you're doing pleases others. Terrified of a complaint, a look, a gesture, because that alone can crush you. You stop doing the things you love because you're afraid of disappointing someone. But here's the real question: disappointing who? You keep making decisions that don't align with who you really are. You've become a prisoner in your own cage. You don't dare to have your own opinion because your self-esteem is tied to what others think. But tell me, what's the point of that? When you live for approval, your life stops being yours and becomes a stage directed by others. Here's a story, mine, or maybe one you'll recognize. For years, I said yes to things I didn't want to do because I was afraid of losing love, respect, validation, or simply to quote-unquote keep the peace. Until one day I asked myself, what would happen if I said no? Of course, that day I didn't. No way, I was terrified. But even with all that fear, I started to say no. No to going to certain places. No to drinking alcohol when I didn't want to. No to doing things that weren't my responsibility. No to anything that wasn't aligned with my vibration. And that changed everything. Now I'm going to be straightforward with you because I don't sugarcoat things. Here's the truth, straight to the point. You don't need permission to be yourself. Other people's approval is temporary. Your inner peace is permanent. The cost of living for others is giving up living for yourself. People quickly forget what you did for them, but you'll never forget what you deny yourself to please them. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself as you answer these questions. Take your time, pause this episode if you need to, write them down, sit with them. What things do you do only to keep others happy with you? What would you stop doing if you knew no one would judge you? What would you start doing if you knew no one would have an opinion about it? Here's your mantra and reminder of the day. You weren't born to be applauded. You were born to be free. And freedom begins the moment you choose yourself, even if no one else does. If this made you think, don't ignore it. Today is the day to choose yourself because your life is far too short to live in someone else's script. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and giving yourself this moment. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another woman who might need the reminder that choosing herself is an act of love. And if no one has told you today, let me be the one. I love you, I honor you, and I'm so proud of you. Keep choosing you again and again. I'll talk to you in the next episode of Rise with Self-Love. Until then, remember who you are.